The splash that changed everything. It was a warm, sunny afternoon at the United Species Embassy pool. Children of many species splashed and played in the crystal-clear water. Humans, aliens, and hybrids laughed together. Music played softly from hidden speakers, and the scent of alien fruits filled the air. Eli Foster, a young human lifeguard, sat on his high red chair near the deep end. He wore sunglasses and a whistle around his neck. Most of his job was just watching. Nothing serious ever happened here. The alien families were usually careful. Their children stayed close. It was just another boring shift. Until he heard it, a soft splash. Eli turned his head. He didn't see anything unusual at first, but then he noticed something strange. Tiny air bubbles were rising, but no one had jumped in. No child was splashing there. It was silent. He stood up. Did someone go under? He asked himself. His eyes narrowed as he focused. And then, for a split second, he saw it. A small hand broke the surface, just for a second, then disappeared. His heart raced. Without thinking, Eli threw off his whistle, kicked off his sandals, and dove headfirst into the water. Everything went quiet in his ears as he swam toward the bubbles. The water felt heavier, darker. His arms moved fast, pushing through with strength and urgency. Then he saw her. She was tiny, maybe the size of a human 6-year-old. Her skin was soft lavender, her hair like strands of floating silver. She wasn't moving. Her eyes were open, but blank. She was sinking. Eli grabbed her and kicked hard toward the surface. His lungs were burning. She felt weightless, like she didn't belong in water at all. With one final push, he broke through the surface. Lifeguard! Someone shouted. People began to notice. A few gasped. But no one moved to help. They just stared. Some aliens stepped back, whispering in fear. Others looked away, confused or disturbed. Eli pulled the girl onto the poolside deck and started CPR. She wasn't breathing. 1, 2, 3. He whispered, pressing on her chest. Come on, stay with me. The girl's body suddenly twitched, and then she coughed. Bright glowing liquid burst from her small mouth. She took a deep breath, then another. Her silver eyes blinked slowly. She was alive. Eli sat back, breathing heavily. Water dripped from his hair. The girl looked at him weakly, and then, without warning, grabbed his arm. Her small fingers dug into his skin. She didn't want to let go. Hey, you're okay, he said gently. You're safe now. Medical bots finally arrived, floating over the poolside with glowing scanners and tools. A security officer followed behind, a tall alien with golden armor and unreadable eyes. Move aside, the officer said. She needs help. Eli shouted. The girl let out a tiny, panicked cry and clung to Eli harder. She doesn't want to go with you, Eli said, frowning. She's not your concern. Human, the officer replied coldly. Other staff members came rushing in, and whispers spread like wildfire. Who is she? Why was she alone? Why didn't the pool detect her? The girl shook her head. Her tiny voice cracked through the translator. No guards, no take me. Eli stood protectively between her and the officer. She almost drowned. Maybe talk to her like she's a person, not a package. The officer's eyes narrowed. This incident will be reported. Leave this matter to us. But the girl's grip didn't loosen. She stared up at Eli like he was her last lifeline. More aliens arrived, some with weapons, some with strange devices. Scanning the area. Eli had saved lives before, but this felt different. This wasn't just a rescue. Something was wrong. Why was she alone in a deep pool designed for larger species? Why did no one notice her missing? Why was she so afraid of the guards? The girl whispered something. Eli leaned closer. They tried to drown me. His blood went cold. He looked up at the guards surrounding them. She wasn't safe here, and maybe neither was he. Asterisk the med bay smelled like clean metal and strange medicine. Small machines hummed. The lights were soft and blue, calming, but Eli felt anything but calm. He sat beside the bed where the tiny alien girl rested. She was wrapped in a silver blanket, her small body shaking now and then. Medical bots had run every scan possible. Her vitals were stable. Her breathing had returned to normal. But she hadn't spoken since the poolside whisper. Eli hadn't left her side. No one had told him to stay. No one had told him to leave either. But the way she had clung to his arm, her eyes pleading for safety, he couldn't just walk away. A nurse bot floated near her, its voice gentle. Hydration levels low, emotional distress high. Recommending comfort unit. No, Eli said firmly. She doesn't need a robot. She needs a real person. The bot blinked and hovered away silently. The girl stirred. Her fingers twitched. Her eyes fluttered open slowly. Then she sat up fast, gasping and coughing bubbles. Her chest heaved as she tried to speak. Eli moved closer and held her shoulder gently. Easy, he said. You're okay now. Her eyes locked on his face recognition. Flashed in them. You saved me, she whispered in a soft, broken voice. The translator bracelet on her wrist crackled. Eli smiled. Yeah, I did. Name's Eli. What's yours? She hesitated, then pointed to her chest. Yanari. It was a beautiful name, but her voice trembled as she said it, like it carried pain. Yanari's eyes scanned the room quickly, checking corners and shadows like someone was hiding there. When she didn't find anything, she relaxed just a little, but still sat with her legs pulled tightly to her chest. Where are your parents? Eli asked gently. She shook her head. Gone. A long time now. Do you live here at the embassy? Another shake of the head. I was brought here, told I could play. Told the water was safe. Eli leaned forward, feeling his jaw clench. Who told you that? Yanari didn't answer. Her eyes filled with tears. She looked down and glowing blue drops fell from her cheeks. Bubbles. Her kind cried bubbles. Eli had never seen anything like it. And his heart broke a little. Someone tried to hurt you, didn't they? He asked. She nodded. Eli stood and began pacing. This was bad, really bad. Whoever dropped her in the deep end wasn't just careless. They knew she couldn't swim. That pool was regulated by security protocols. An accident like this shouldn't have happened at all. He pulled out his communicator and opened the security feed. Access denied, the screen flashed. He frowned. What? I've used this before. Yanari's voice came again. They don't want you to see. Who are they, Yanari? She hesitated. Then, in a whisper said, the ones in the gold. Eli froze. That was the same armor the guard wore earlier. The one who tried to take her. Do you know why they're after you? She looked away for a long time. Then she spoke. I am the youngest daughter of House Venari. A hidden royal line, water-kind, deep-sea origin. My people few left now, hunted. Eli couldn't believe what he was hearing. You're a princess? She nodded. But I have no crown, only danger. Eli felt like the air had been punched out of him. He had saved royalty, and now he was in the middle of something far bigger than a drowning accident. A soft sound at the door made him spin around. A tall alien stood there. Not armored this time, but dressed in simple robes. His eyes were sharp, and his smile fake. Apologies for interrupting, the man said smoothly. I am Director Kelvar. I've been sent to escort the child to safety. Yanari's face went pale. She grabbed Eli's arm again. Don't let him take me, she whispered. Eli stepped in front of her. She doesn't want to go with you. Kelvar smiled wider like a snake. She's a child. She doesn't understand. I think she understands more than all of us, Eli said sharply. Where were you when she was drowning? Kelvar's eyes darkened, but his voice stayed calm. You misunderstand. There's no threat. She was simply lost. We have secured the area. Eli didn't move. Then why are the pool's cameras wiped? Silence. Yanari trembled behind him. Your actions are causing trouble, human, Kelvar said coldly. If you interfere again, it will be considered obstruction of interspecies protocol. Eli stared him down. Then I guess I'm guilty. Kelvar narrowed his eyes and walked away, his robe swishing. The door closed. Eli turned to Yanari. You're not going anywhere with him, not as long as I'm here. She looked up at him, and for the first time she smiled, just a little, but it was real. Later that night, the med bay was quiet, too quiet. The soft hum of the machines, the distant footsteps in the hallway, and the slow ticking of the wall clock were the only sounds Eli could hear. He sat on the floor next to Yanari's bed, still, wide awake. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw her drowning. He couldn't forget it. Yanari hadn't slept either. Her large silver eyes stayed open, watching shadows move across the ceiling like they were alive. Do you want water? Eli asked softly. She shook her head. Fruit? Food? She shook her head again, then whispered, I want to go home. Eli looked at her. Where is home? She didn't answer right away. Her fingers played with the silver blanket nervously. Deep, she finally said. Below the embassy. Far below. Where water touches sky dark. Eli raised an eyebrow. You mean underwater? She nodded. Far below your pool. There's a door, a gateway. Only few know it exists. He sat forward, now very curious. Is that how you came here? She looked away. No, I was taken from there. They lied, said they wanted peace. But they wanted to erase me. Ilili's eyes narrowed. Who took you? Yanari hesitated. One of the High Council. They said I would be safe with humans. But it was a trick. Eli's thoughts raced. A secret underwater gate under the embassy? A royal alien girl with enemies in the council? This wasn't just politics, it was a cover-up. Can you show me the gate? He asked. Yanari looked at him. Unsure. Eli gently reached out. You said someone tried to erase you, but I saw you, I pulled you out. If you trust me, I'll help you go back. She stared at him for a long time, then slowly nodded. Then we go tonight, Eli said that an hour later, with most of the staff asleep. Eli and Yanari moved through the dark corridors of the embassy. He carried her in his arms, wrapped in a large coat. They avoided cameras taking service paths and maintenance tunnels. The Na'ar, I guided him, whispering directions. Right turn, down, metal stair. Ele followed, heart pounding. If they were caught, he'd lose his job. Maybe worse, but he didn't care. She wasn't safe. Here, and he couldn't forget the fear in her voice when Kelvar came. They reached a rusted door behind the supply warehouse. It didn't match the rest of the embassy's shiny walls. This door was old, ancient. This is it? Eli asked. Yanari touched the panel beside the door. It glowed blue under her fingers. Strange runes lit up, moving in a circle. The door hissed, then opened. Behind it was a short tunnel. Then water. Cold, deep, silent water. Eli blinked. Wait, that's not a room. That's a chamber, Yanari said. It leads to the gate. But it's hidden deep. Ele stared at the Vi. Dark water. I didn't bring gear. You won't need it, she whispered. The gate will protect us, if it knows you're with me. He raised an eyebrow. The gate is alive? She didn't answer. Instead, she took a deep breath, held his hand, and stepped into the water. Eli followed. The cold wrapped around him like ice. But then, something strange happened. The water shimmered. His body warmed. He could breathe. He looked at his arms. Tiny silver bubbles clung to his skin like a living suit. What is this? He asked, voice still clear in the water. Ancient technology, Yanari said. My people use it to pass through. They swam deeper, through glowing coral-like tunnels. Alien sea life watched them from cracks in the stone. Strange lights floated above, like stars underwater. Then they reached it. The gate. It was massive, like a silver archway buried in the rock. Symbols glowed on its surface. In the center was a heart-shaped crystal, dim and cracked. Yanari floated close to it. She touched the crystal gently with both hands. "Bloodline key," she said. "It should open." The crystal flickered. Then went dark. "No," she whispered. "It's broken." Eli swam beside her. "Can you fix it?" She looked heartbroken. "No, I am too weak. I have not completed the bond. I was taken before my time." Suddenly, the water around them trembled. A shadow moved above. A large figure swam down fast. "Swim!" Eli shouted, grabbing her. But it was too late. The creature slammed between them. It looked like a cross between a shark and a mechanical guardian. Sharp armor, glowing eyes, and a spear-like tail. It growled deep in its chest. Then a voice echoed from it, mechanical and cold. "Princess Yanari, return denied." Yanari backed away in fear. "That's not one of ours. It's been corrupted." Eli gritted his teeth. "You said the gate responds to protection, right?" Yanari nodded. "Then stay behind me." Eli raised his fists, heart racing. He was just a human lifeguard, but he wasn't letting anyone take her. Again. "Not now. Not ever." Eli's heart pounded. Inside his chest as the giant underwater guardian floated between him and Yanari. The thing was fast armored and twice his size, but he didn't care. He pushed forward, putting himself between her and the machine. The guardian's eyes glowed. "Red," its voice echoed again. "Unauthorized return attempt. Threat level high. Eliminate the anomaly." Eli clenched his fists. "You call a little girl an anomaly? She's the rightful heir." But the guardian didn't care. It lunged. Eli rolled to the side, bubbles exploding around him. The creature's spear tail slammed into the stone wall, sending cracks through the coral. Yanari screamed, trying to activate the gate again. Her hands glowed faintly, but the crystal at the center was still dead. "It won't open," she cried. "I'm not strong enough." Eli swam low, grabbed a sharp piece of broken coral from the floor, and hurled it with all his strength. It struck the guardian's eye hard enough to make it roar and turn away for a second. "Now!" he shouted. "Swim!" Yanari didn't argue. She dove toward the tunnel. Eli followed, the beast close behind. They reached the surface moments later, gasping for air as they burst from the hidden chamber's water. Alarms were already blaring. "Lockdown in. Progress. All staff return to rooms. Repeat. Lockdown in progress." Eli coughed, helping Yanari out of the tunnel. The metal door began to close behind them, but he slammed a wrench into its gears to jam it. "They knew we'd be there," he said, breathing hard. The Nar nodded. "That guardian was ours once. It guarded the royal gate, but someone reprogrammed it. They wanted to trap us down there," Eli said, eyes wide. "Or kill us both." Footsteps echoed in the hallway outside. Eli scooped her up and ran down a side tunnel, turning corners fast. They reached a forgotten maintenance room. It smelled of rust and oil. Eli set Yanari down on an old workbench and locked the door behind them. "We can't stay here long," he said. "Someone triggered that lockdown just for us." "But who?" Yanari asked, clutching her arms. "Kelvar," Eli muttered. "Or whoever he works for." She looked down. "The council once feared my family. They destroyed my father. My mother vanished. Only I remain." Eli sat beside her. "Why do they fear you?" She hesitated, then said, "Because I carry the Song of the Deep." He blinked. "What's that?" She looked up at him with glowing eyes. "A gift of the ancient sea. My voice can call storms, calm monsters, open ancient doors. But only when I come of age. And only when I'm safe." Eli stared at her. So you're not just royalty. You're a living key to something big. She nodded. Something they want kept locked forever. Suddenly, a loud voice came from the wall speakers. Attention! One human lifeguard, Eli Foster, is in violation of interspecies treaty regulations. He is to be detained immediately. This order is from the High Embassy Council. Eli stood up fast. They're turning everyone against us. Yanari gripped his hand. What do we do now? He looked around the room and spotted an old vent. We disappear, he said. At least until we figure out how to fix that gate. Meanwhile, in the embassy's control room, Kelvar stood with his arms behind his back. Screens showed every hallway, every door. But the camera for the old maintenance room was dark. Find them, he ordered. I want them before sunrise. Young officer hesitated. Sir, the human is just a lifeguard. He has no weapons. Kelvar's voice dropped to a whisper. Yes, but the girl does. She doesn't even know it yet. Inside the vent tunnel, Eli and Yanari crawled slowly. It was hot and tight, but safe for now. Eli wiped sweat from his forehead. He could hear guards rushing below them. Where? Are we going? Yanari whispered. There's an old power room near the base of the pool, he whispered back. I saw it once during training. It controls the water systems. Maybe we can use it to power the gate crystal. Yanari nodded. Slowly. If we do, we must hurry. That guardian, it won't stop. Ele didn't say it, but he agreed. That thing wasn't natural anymore. It was a weapon. They finally reached the power room's upper grate. Ele kicked it open and helped Yanari down. The room was dark. Dust floated in the air. Old consoles flickered weakly. Strange alien tech hummed under glass panels. Eli walked to the center and looked at the massive battery core. If we reroute power, he murmured. The Na'ar. I moved beside him. I can guide it. I remember some of the deep symbols. Together, they started tapping commands on the panel. Blue lights blinked to life. The battery whirred loudly. And far below, in the hidden chamber, the gate's heart crystal began to glow. Back in the dark water, the guardian opened its eyes again. The gate was waking, and it was no longer obeying corrupted commands. Something had changed. Something ancient had heard the call and was ready to answer. The humming grew louder. Inside the power room, blue lights ran across the walls like living rivers. Eli and Yanari stood close to the console, watching the crystal display. The symbols on the screen had changed. Now they pulsed with the same color as Yanari's eyes. It's working, she whispered, amazed. The gate is waking. Eli let out a slow breath. Good. That means we still have a chance. But deep inside, he was nervous. They were not soldiers, not spies. Just a human lifeguard and a scared alien girl. And yet, they were now hunted across the embassy. Guards were looking for them. Cameras were blind in some places, but that wouldn't last forever. How do we get back to the gate? Eli asked. Yanari closed her eyes and concentrated. The fastest way is ... through the base of the pool. There's a hatch under the diving platform, the old entrance. Eli raised an eyebrow. The one sealed with heavy plating? Yes, she said. But if the system listens to me now, I can open it. Then let's go. They moved through the side halls, avoiding patrols. Twice they had to duck into storage rooms as search teams passed by. Ele held Yanari's hand tightly, ready to run if needed. As they reached the pool deck, the lights were dim. The water was calm, almost too calm. No guards were in sight, but Eli knew that didn't mean they were alone. The diving platform towered over the water. Beneath it, hidden by old metal panels, was the underwater hatch Yanari spoke of. They moved quickly. Eli pulled off the rusted cover while Yanari placed her hand on the control panel. It didn't respond at first. She closed her eyes again and whispered something in her native tongue, a soft musical sound. The hatch glowed, then slid open with a hiss. A staircase descended into glowing blue water. The na-ar, I smiled. The gate recognizes me now. Eli nodded. Let's finish this. They stepped down and entered the water again. As before, a bubble of breathable air formed around them, another sign the gate was waking. The alien tech responded to Yennery's presence more strongly now. They swam through tunnels faster than before. The coral glowed brighter. The water felt warmer, like the sea itself was watching and waiting. When they reached the gate chamber, the change was clear. The heart crystal at the center was no longer dim. It now pulsed with power, soft at first, then stronger, like a heartbeat. Yennari floated close, tears in her eyes. It's alive again. She placed both hands on the crystal. This time, it didn't resist. It welcomed her touch. Symbols flowed across its surface. Eli hovered beside her. What happens now? She looked at him. The gate will open. It will call my people. Are they close? No, far below. Deep in the ocean's core. But the signal can reach them. Before she could activate it fully, the water rippled. A shadow moved behind them. Eli spun around, and his heart sank. The Guardian had returned. But something was different. It didn't attack. It hovered in place, its glowing red eyes now flickering. Between red and blue, like it was confused. Yennari turned to face it. You remember me now, don't you? She said softly. The Guardian's voice came, softer this time. Command, unclear. Memory. Restored. Eli floated closer, watching carefully. Can it be trusted? Yennari swam to the Guardian and gently placed her hand on its armored chest. The red light faded. The blue light grew stronger. I'm not afraid, she said. Not anymore. The Guardian lowered its head. Then, without warning, the chamber shook. The ceiling cracked. A large blast echoed from above, followed by a wave of heat. They found us, Eli shouted. A metal drone crashed into the water, spinning down toward them. Firing stun pulses, Yennari screamed. The Guardian roared and blocked the shot, taking the full blast. Its armor sparked, but it stayed up, protecting them. Eli grabbed Yennari and pulled her behind the gate's arch. We need to open it now, she nodded, placing both hands on the crystal again. This time, she sang. Her voice echoed through the water. Beautiful, strange, powerful. The crystal flared with light. The arch lit up. A swirl of blue energy formed in the center. The gate was opening, but the drones kept coming, more of them, swarming from the top tunnel. Eli turned to the Guardian. Can you hold them off? The machine nodded once. Protect the air. It charged upward, slamming into the nearest drone and smashing it into the rocks. Eli, let's go. But she paused. You can't come. You're human. The pressure on the other side. I'm not letting you go alone, he said firmly. Yennari hesitated, then grabbed his hand. Then hold on to me. I'll protect you this time. Together, they swam into the light. The gate swallowed them whole. And behind them, the Guardian stood firm, facing the oncoming storm. Asterisk. The light was blinding. Eli held tight to Yennery's hand as the swirling energy of the gate wrapped around them. For a moment, he felt weightless. No water, no air, no sound, just silence and a strange warmth, like the world was holding its breath. Then everything changed. They burst through to the other side. Eli's feet hit smooth stone. But it wasn't the embassy anymore. It was a vast glowing chamber deep underwater. Air filled the space, protected by shimmering energy walls. High above, giant fish swam peacefully past the ceiling of water. The ground was soft and silver blue, shaped like seashells and coral. Floating lights danced in the air like fireflies. This is your world? Eli whispered, stunned. The na-ar, I nodded slowly. Welcome to Varelen, the sacred heart of my people. Eli looked around in awe. It's beautiful and alive. Yonari turned toward a large structure at the back of the chamber. It looked like a throne, but it was cracked, broken, covered in vines and dust. Symbols were carved all over it. A long banner hung from above, torn and faded, with the mark of a royal house. "My family ruled from here," she said quietly. "Before the betrayal." Eli walked beside her. "Do you think anyone is still here?" She didn't answer. Instead, she walked forward and placed her palm on the throne. The runes began to glow. A deep sound echoed across the chamber, low and musical. The walls lit up with patterns. And then a voice. "You have returned, child of the deep." Eli looked around. The voice didn't come from a speaker. It came from the walls, from the city itself. Yonari stood straight. "I come to reclaim my place and bring justice." Suddenly, a flash of light appeared above them, and several tall figures stepped out of shimmering portals. Their armor was sleek and dark, their faces hidden under glass helmets. Eli stepped in front of Yonari. "Who are they?" She frowned. "The Deep Council. They were sworn to protect me, but I don't trust them anymore." One of the armored figures stepped forward. His voice was sharp. "You should not have returned, Yonari. Your presence endangers the peace." She raised her chin. "There is no peace when I'm hunted, when lies rule." "You are too young to understand," the figure said coldly. "Power must be controlled, not inherited." "You mean stolen." Eli snapped out. Another counselor pointed at Eli. "And who is this outsider?" "He is the one who saved my life," Yonari said clearly. "When your people tried to drown me." The room fell silent. "You're lying," one of them hissed. "She's not." Eli stepped forward. "I saw it. You tried to erase her. She's a threat to your control. That's all this is." The air grew heavy. One of the counselors raised a strange weapon. "This human speaks too boldly." Eli didn't flinch. "Try me." Yonari stepped beside him. "Touch him, and I will awaken the song." The counselors hesitated. One of them spoke again, carefully. "You are not bonded yet, child. You have no claim. The song is not yours." Yonari took a deep breath. "Then let it judge me." She turned to the broken throne and placed both hands on it. A burst of light shot through the chamber. The runes on the walls lit up one by one. Eli had to shield his eyes. Yonari's body began to glow, not just her eyes, but her whole form. Her hair lifted in the air. The silver strands sparkled like stars. And then music. A sound poured out of her chest, not words, but a song. Ancient, strong, beautiful. It filled the room like rising waves. The counselors froze. The air around Eli shimmered. He felt weightless. The throne healed itself, vines retreating, cracks vanishing, the banner rising high again. A deep voice echoed once more. "The air has awakened." Yonari stepped forward, calm, powerful, no longer the trembling girl from the pool. She was someone else now. "A queen. You tried to silence me," she said, looking at the council. "But I survived." The council leader raised his hand. "Even if you sing, you need support. The others will not follow you." "They don't need to," she said, raising her voice. "Because the gate has already sent the signal. My people are coming." From above, the water parted. Dozens of shapes swam toward the chamber, alien warriors with fins and armor, flags of her house glowing in the current. Eli turned to her. "You did it." She looked at him, smiling softly. "We did it." A small tremble hit the floor. The gate behind them flickered again. Yonari's eyes narrowed. "But this isn't over. Kelvar is still out there. He won't stop." Eli nodded. "Then let's finish this." The water above them shimmered like glass as the royal warriors entered the throne chamber. Long fins flowed behind their armor, and their eyes glowed bright with recognition. They landed in perfect silence, surrounding the throne, and one by one they knelt. Eli watched in awe. The tiny girl he had pulled from a pool was now standing at the center of an army. She wasn't scared anymore. She wasn't weak. She was a queen now, but there was no time to celebrate. The gate at the far wall began to shake. Its glow turned red. Eli stepped forward. That's not good. Yanari nodded slowly. They're forcing the gate open. From the other side, a blast of red light exploded through the gate. Kelvar stepped out. He wore black armor now, with sharp edges like knives. His eyes were cold, his voice full of venom. Very impressive, princess, he said. You opened the gate, sang your little song, and played queen. But the council on the surface still belongs to me. You'll never leave this place alive. Yanari didn't step back. She raised her hand and her warriors stood ready. You tried to drown me. You lied to my people. You stole my birthright, she said clearly. And now you've followed me into the deep. That was your last mistake. Kelvar laughed. You think they'll protect you? He looked at the warriors. They fear me more than they serve you. No one moved, but Eli did. He stepped forward and shouted, Hey, remember me? Kelvar turned, sneering. The lifeguard. Eli held up a glowing shard. It pulsed with energy, the same energy from the gate. I took this from your drone before it exploded. Your control signal is inside. I figured out what you did to the Guardian. You hacked it. You corrupted it. Kelvar's smile faded. Eli looked at the warriors. He poisoned your protector. He used your own tech to silence the air. Is that who you follow? A low growl moved through the soldiers. Their hands tightened on their weapons. One stepped forward. Is this true? Kelvar snapped. They would have destroyed themselves if I hadn't taken control. Enough, Yanari said, stepping down from the throne. You are no longer part of our world. Your place is not among the deep. Your time is over. Kelvar pulled a hidden blade and lunged straight at her. Eli moved first. He tackled Kelvar to the ground. They rolled across the coral floor, punching, grappling. Kelvar was stronger, faster. He slammed Eli down hard. Eli gasped, but didn't stop. He kicked Kelvar off and grabbed the shard, jamming it into Kelvar's wristplate. The armor sparked. Kelvar screamed as his control system overloaded. The corrupted signal burst out of his body like a shockwave. Above them, the gate began to flicker again. The Guardian, still standing just beyond the gate, opened its glowing eyes. Blue. Pure blue. It dove into the chamber like a falling star and landed behind Kelvar, wrapping him in a grip of steel. Kel Var screamed as the Guardian's voice returned. Traitor, detected, sentence, exile. A second portal opened, one Eli didn't recognize. It looked unstable, like a rip in space. The Guardian dragged Kelvar through it. And then they were gone. Silence fell. Eli slumped against the wall, breathing hard. Please tell me that's the last of him. Yanari walked over, knelt beside him, and smiled. You saved me again, he chuckled. Not bad for a pool lifeguard. One of the older warriors stepped forward and bowed. Queen Yanari, your command awaits. She stood tall. Prepare the message. Tell all houses peace is being restored. And Earth. Earth will be our first ally. The warriors saluted. Then Yanari turned back to Eli. You could go back, she said softly. Back to your life. The embassy will forget everything, but I won't. He looked at her. You're safe now. That's what matters. She shook her head. I'm not asking for safety. I'm asking, will you stay? Eli blinked. You want me to live here, in an underwater alien kingdom? I want you to live, she said with a soft smile, where you're needed. He looked around the glowing walls, the gentle current, the soldiers watching with respect. He looked at the Na'ari. Then he nodded. I'll stay. Weeks later, the United Species Embassy received a formal message from Varellan. Peace had been restored. Queen Yanari had taken the throne. And beside her, listed in full royal honor, was one human name, Sir Eli Foster, guardian of the gate. No one would forget the day a human dove into the water and changed the fate of a kingdom. The drowning princess had risen again. Forever.